Hey, welcome to game night at Game Kastle, Santa Clara. Today we've got Spencer over here, we've got Ben over here. They've kindly let me film their game and make a battle report. High Elves versus Bretonnia. I wanted to try out a new battle report format. Some of the ones on YouTube are really long, in my opinion. I usually don't want to sit through a 2-hour battle report, so I wanted to try to make something a little different. I'm going for 30 to 40 minutes. I'm going to show a couple die rolls, but not most of the die rolls, and just talk about strategy and decisions for the most part. Let me know what you think. Very open to feedback on this. We're playing meeting engagement, which is the one where if you roll a die for every unit, and if you roll a 1, they have to start as reinforcements. But we're doing the regular deployment zone like for a pitched battle, so just a slight little twist. And we'll be right back with the army list.
So we are playing the mission where you roll to see if units are in reserve. So I did have a unit of Knights on the Realm, Prophetess, and Batter Center Bearer all come in reserve. So they're hanging out on the board over there, which caused me, or I set up to kind of bunker a little bit until they came on because it's a good chunk of my force. So starting on the left, I just have a normal mounted Knights of the Realm to hold the flank over there. Man-at-Arms, full command. A unit of archers with stakes, and then knights on foot with great weapons. Right behind him is my Duke. He is mounted on the Royal Pegasus, has a Grommel Great Helm for the save, and Virtue of Knightly Temper, so he hates all enemies and plus D3 attacks. Unit of Knight Errants in the middle. Standard unit of Pegasus Knights in the back, and another unit of Man-at-Arms in the front here.
All right, so on my right flank, looking at the left on this side, we got my heavy cavalry contingent. They're going to be focusing on flanking his forces. How well it's going to do will be remain to be seen, but we'll see. Over here, we got my elite infantry. They are going to be the blenders of my army. Hopefully, they can get off a countercharge if they don't get shot to pieces by his archers, but they'll be fun. These are my spearmen along with some archers. They are meant to hold the line and just prevent any more of his stuff from breaking through and causing envelopments. They're gonna have fun. My Eagle Claw bolt thrower, artillery, just shooting up all his stuff, and then my general, who is going to fly around, cast spells, and probably go for some character sniping. And then I got some archers in reserve because I rolled a 1 on the deployment.
Start of the game, Ben with his Bretonnians has decided to pray, so Spencer will go first. High Elf strategy phase, they successfully cast Earthen Ramparts on the Spearmen and attempted to cast Courage of Anarian, but failed twice, even with a Blessing reroll. All right, here's the movement phase for the High Elves. Mostly everything just moved up. They move forward cautiously. The Archmage here cast Walk Between Worlds on the Swordmasters, so they have Ethereal and Reserve move this turn. Moved up here, and then the Prince on the Griffin moved pretty aggressively up on the flank. Shooting phase for the High Elves. The Ruby Ring of Ruin went off from this unit and killed 1 Man-at-Arms. And the Repeater Bolt Thrower went off there and shot 1 Knight. And he tried to cast Fireball as well, and he failed his casting roll. Then we had a reserve move here from Walk Between Worlds, and the Swordmasters went forward just a little bit farther. Here's the Bretonnian movement phase. So the Men-at-Arms down there moved up. The Knights of the Realm are moving up kind of behind them there. Archers are on the hill. The Duke on the Pegasus moved forward behind these Foot Knights. Peg Knights are now in front of the Foot Knights. These Knights Errant coming up the flank. And these Men-at-Arms here are on the far left, facing off against his cavalry. For the Bretonnian shooting phase, really the only shooting was from these peasant bowmen. They shot at the spears and killed 2 guys. Here's the High Elf strategy phase. Mostly just some spells here. So first off, Earthen Ramparts went off on the Spearmen. They've got their ward save. Courage of Anarian, though, failed catastrophically. He failed his first cast, and he used his Blessing for a reroll, which resulted in a miscast and a Dimensional Cascade, which did 1 damage to the wizard back there. And then finally, Shield of Safri was successfully cast on the swords. All right, charges. Here's the Prince on the Duke, attempting to charge into the men-at-arms. It's a 17-inch charge. Let's see it. What do we got? All right, so that's a 3 plus 4, 7, plus a move of 9 is 16. So I think you are just short. High Elf compulsory move phase. The archers are on the board, and he's already moved them for their remaining moves as well. Here's the remaining moves phase for the High Elves. As we mentioned, the archers walked on there. Really just some slight shuffles here. The Swordmasters are being very aggressive. They cast Walk Between Worlds, so they continue to have both ethereal and reserve moves, so they're not in any immediate danger because of all that ethereal power. And then the Silverhelms over here actually went backwards, and his goal is he wants to bait out an impetuous charge from the Knights Errant there. Although he can't really stop the Peg Knights because they're so fast, they're going to get the charge they want. Shooting phase for the High Elves. These archers shot at the men-at-arms, killed one guy. The bolt thrower shot cross field here and went sideways into these foot knights and killed 2. And the Ruby Ring of Ruin went off here and did really good work, killed 2 Knights of the Realm. That was rough. They're going to take a panic test. Go ahead and roll that, please. You go ahead and roll the panic. Yep, there we go. They're good. All right, cool. And then finally, he cast Fiery Convocation. It went off, but scattered into the back and only clipped 1 guy and did not roll the 4-up. There we go. And then finally, we have a reserve move. The Swordmasters went forward. They're being very, very aggressive. Here's the charge moves for the Bretonnians. So first off, the Knights Errant passed their impetuous check, so the Gambit did not pay off there. And then we got 2 charges into the Swordmasters. We're just going to move those in. They're so close that they're automatic. No need to roll. During the Bretonnian compulsory move phase, the Knights of the Realm came out from reserves, along with their BSB, and the Prophetess came on over here. Remaining moves for the Bretonnians. So these new Knights of the Realm moved in off the table. They've already charged. Prophetess moved forward. These Peg Knights moved very far forward and took care to stay out of line of sight of the front arc of the Silverhelms here. Men-at-Arms moved forward pretty aggressively. Knights Errant coming up behind them. And these Foot Knights are, I think, pivoted a bit and are heading over to the left flank. That's about it. For the Bretonnian shooting phase, the archers shot at the Prince over there on the Griffin and did nothing. The Bretonnians also fired a Ruby Ring of Ruin off of the lead here on the Knights of the Realm. They shot it and killed 1 spear. The ward saves from Earthen Ramparts coming in handy there. Here's the combat between the, these are the Knights of the Realm, right, and the Duke. So the Duke ran in with his weapon and actually, despite the ethereal, killed 5 swords. He rolled really well. The Archmage issued a challenge, and it was accepted by the unit champion here in the Knights of the Realm. The Archmage won. He's dead. No other damage in the fight. Well, I had a lot of trouble with the ethereal. So the Bretonnians did 5 wounds, and they also have close order from the Griffin, or sorry, the, what is it? The Lord only, because the other one doesn't have unit strength 5 anymore, and a banner for a total of 7. The High Elves killed 1 model, and they have close order, and they have a banner, but they don't get their rank bonus because the Bretonnians have first charge. So 7-3, Bretonnians win combat. It's leadership 8 on the Swordmasters. They are not within BSB range or general range. So a 4 to give ground and an 8 for fallback good order. Let's see what we got. A give ground. All right. So after the give ground from the swords, he attempted to restrain with his Duke and actually failed on leadership 9. So the Duke charged right in, along with the Knights of the Realm. High Elf strategy phase. So he cast Earthen Ramparts for the 5-up ward save, and also Courage of Venarian for Unbreakable. He did have to use his Blessing to re-roll it, but it went off on the reroll. Here's the High Elf charge phase. So everything is automatic because the units are close. So the Silverhelms are going in first, and the Chariot's going in on the corner there. And way over here, we have the Prince on the Griffin going in on the Men-at-Arms. Remaining moves for the High Elves. Not a whole lot here. The Spears rotated just a bit. he attempted to cast Walk Between Worlds, and it got dispelled by the Prophetess, so that's huge. They won't have Ethereal this turn. And those archers moved up on the hill, way in the back. All right, so here's the fight between the Bretonnians on the Duke and the Knights of the Realm. So the Duke issued a challenge, which is accepted by the unit champion of the Swordmasters. The Duke absolutely murdered the unit champion with 5 points of overkill. The unit champion managed to do 1 wound back to the Duke. And then the Swordmasters managed to kill the remaining 2 Knights of the Realm on their initiative. So they got 2 kills there, a banner, a rank, close order, and that 5 represents the wounds they did to the Duke. The Bretonnians got 1 kill, 5 overkill, and then close order on the Duke. So the Bretonnians win combat by 1. We are getting leadership bonuses from the general within 18 inches, so let's see how this goes. 9. So they are giving ground, right? What's the leadership on the general?
10.
Yeah, giving ground. Okay, here's the combat between the men-at-arms and the Griffin here. So the men-at-arms did no damage, but they have close order and a rank and a banner. And the Griffin killed 5 with its regular attacks and 1 with a stomp attack, which also does 1 additional and 1 additional from close order. Actually, go ahead and remove that rank die there. Could you grab one of the green ones and remove it? I realized that they just lost their rank from the stomp attack. All right, so that is going to be 2 to 7. So you just need Snake Eyes to give ground and a 6 to fall back in good order.
So I got a 6.
Exactly a 6. Okay, and you're going to use Shield Wall?
Yes.
You'll use Shield Wall to give ground. All right, here's the chariots and we'll go quick on this one. 12 men-at-arms got killed. Also have 1 close order, a banner, and a rank on the cavalry. And managed to kill 1 knight in return, and they have close order and a flag. So lost by 12, and they are outnumbered 2 to 1. So Ben needs Snake Eyes. What you got? No. All right, they're gonna flee. So just resolving this combat. The Silver Helms ran down the peasants. They only ran 4 inches, and they reformed after they did that. And the chariot restrained and reformed over here. Bretonnian strategy phase. So he used his wizard here to cast the Lady's Gift on the Knights of the Realm, right? And he cast it on the higher value, so they have a 5-up regen. Bretonnian charge phase. We have a lot of charges. So first off, we've got the Knights of the Realm. They have the longest one going into the Swordmasters over here. Let's see the charge roll. So add the Swift Stride to that 1 die.
Bretonnian war horses get to reroll 1.
Oh, okay, nice.
So
4 Swift Stride.
Swift Stride is 7.
Okay, so they're easily in. Most of the rest of these charges are automatic, so just point them out real quick. So the Duke is going where?
To the
Silver Helms. The Peg Knights are going into the flank of the Silver Helms. The Knights Errant are going into the flank of the Swordmasters. And is that it?
I'll measure this afterwards.
Oh, after the Knights Errant move, yeah, we'll refilm that. All right, so these Foot Knights of the Realm, even after everyone moved out of the way, they're just out of 10 inches, so they can't declare charge. Remaining moves for the Bretonnians. The Foot Knights of the Realm moved up. Prophetess moved up. That'll do it. So the shooting phase for the Bretonnians. All the archers shot into the spears and killed 2 spearmen. Let me see them up there. 2 spearmen dead. And the Prophetess cast Column of Crystal over here. Interesting move. So there's an impassable terrain, blocks line of sight, large template right there. Combat. It's the Knights Errant and the Knights of the Realm against the Swordmasters. So no challenges here. They killed, 8 Swordmasters, and they also have a banner and a BSB and a magical war banner, and they have 2 lance formations. So that's a total of 13 combat res. The Swordmasters killed 1 Knight Errant, and they caused 1 regen save, and they have a banner. So High Elves lose by 10. So go for Snake Eyes here. You're outnumbered 2 to 1, so unless it's Snake Eyes, you will break. Oh, and you get a BSB, so try one more time. BSB's over there. Here you go. No. All right, so break. Here's the follow-up move. They ran 8 inches, but the Knights ran them down, and then they both took their reforms, and they're pointed towards the spears. This combat over here. So the Peg Knights and the Duke on the Royal Pegasus killed 9 Silver Helms. And the Silver Helms didn't have a whole lot to swing back with. The unit champion, and he didn't hurt anything. So you need Snake Eyes on the break test because you're outnumbered 2-1. They break. You want to go ahead and roll your Flee move? And Swift Stride? Okay, all right. So you're just going to take a 3. All right, so they ran down the Duke ran down the Silver Helms and reformed there. They restrained, and then we're going to roll a panic test on the Chariot. Let's see what we got. Leadership 8. 1. You're good. Here's the final combat for the turn. It's the Prince on the Griffin. Killed 6 peasants, and he's close ordered, so combat res of 7. The peasants did nothing in return, and they have a banner for 1, so they lost by 6. Do you have any general leadership bonuses or BSB in range?
No, I don't think so.
It's 12 inches there? Nope. All right, so they're just rolling on their leadership. So that is what's their so that they break. All right, let's roll their flee roll. 2d6.
You want to pursue?
Okay. We are pursuing. They're going to flee 9. That's a decent roll. Let's see if the Griffin can catch them. Pursuit. That's a 10, so it does catch them. I can't add. That is an 11. All right, so they actually get away, amazingly. Here's the conjuration phase for the High Elves. They cast Earthen Ramparts on the Spearmen, once again, for a 5-up award and some other benefits. And Courage of an Aryan did not go off, even with the Blessing reroll. Here's the charge moves for the High Elves. The Chariot, automatic, just going into the Peg Knights. There we go. And the Prince on the Griffin, pretty much automatic, going into the Prophetess. Remaining moves to the High Elves, really just the spears rotated a bit, and the archers redressed their ranks and moved forward slightly. High Elf shooting. So the archers on the hill shot the Knights of the Realm, did nothing. The Ruby Ring of Ruin went off, killed 2 Knights of the Realm here. These archers shot the fleeing peasants and did nothing. And the bolt thrower, way back there, shot the Duke on thing, and he made his ward save. Here's the combat with the Chariot against the Peg Knights. The Chariot, unfortunately, only did 1 wound on the Peg Knights and gets no other combat res other than that. Peg Knights did 2 wounds back to the Chariot, and they also have a banner. So they got 3-1. They lost by 2. Leadership 8 for the High Elves. Let's see what we get. They give ground. Here's the combat with the Prince against the Prophetess. That didn't go well for the Prophetess. She's dead, and he reformed and decided to point this way. Okay, here's the charge moves. So the Peg Knights are charging in on the Chariot. That'll be automatic. And then we've got the Knights of the Realm here. They're actually going to charge the... Who is that back there? Wizard. The Wizard, Archmage? You're fleeing? Okay. And what do you got here?
So I'll go 9
Plus
15.
So 15?
It'll be 14 then.
Okay, so we'll move those up. For compulsory moves, these peasants actually fled, unfortunately, bounced off the impassable terrain there and fled through the Prince and took 2 more casualties. Remaining moves, the Foot Knights of the Realm decided to execute 2 turns to turn the other way and took like an inch move or 2 inches. And the Knights Errant passed their impetuous check and moved over this way. And the Duke is now over there. So for shooting attacks, the Peasant Archers shot the Prince, just peppered him full of arrows there, and did 1 wound. And the Ruby Ring of Ruin failed to cast on the Spearman. The only combat here is the Peg Knights against the Chariot. They got a 2-inch charge this turn, and they wiped him out. They did the last turn wounds, so they have reformed and are now facing that way. They're skirmishers, so it doesn't really matter. For the High Elf strategy phase, the only thing that happened is that the Wizard rallied. Congrats. All right, charges. The Prince is actually going to charge into the Peg Knights here. The Peg Knights have elected to counter-charge, so they've moved forward 3 inches, and I believe you need a 5 between your charge and your Swift Stride. I guess you don't get it. Well, that's unfortunate. And then charges, yeah, just he's going to hold here. And no, you get 4 inches of move. I'm pretty sure you're still going to hit him, right? Yeah, you got him. You got him. All right. And they're blunted. We'll rearrange off camera. Remaining moves to the High Elves. The far archer unit there just moves slightly to get in range of their bows. Here's the combat here. So the Paladin issued a challenge, which was accepted by the Nobles. We had a Paladin on Noble combat. Really exciting, but they didn't do any wounds to each other. The Spears managed to not kill any of the Knights Errant. The Knights Errant killed... these are Knights of the Realm. They killed 2 Spearmen back, plus Banner, BSB, and War Banner. Is that right? Yep. And the Elves had a Banner, a BSB, a War Banner as well, right? And a flank charge, and 2 ranks, and close order. So they win combat by 2. The General's leadership is in play here. And you roll Snake Eyes, so you give ground. So here's the charge move. The Knights Errant are charging the archers. They elected to flee and fled 6 inches. He rolled an 11 on his charge with a swift stride, so he's moving 20 inches and is about a ½ inch short. So they're going to move all the way up to right behind them, about an inch behind them. Peg Knights are charging into the side of the spears. Let's see what we get. You get, what's their base fly move?
So it should be 16.
16, all right, let's see if you get it. All right, they're going to get it. Remaining moves, not much. They used just a slight reposition here from the Knights of the Realm on foot. And the Duke flew over there. The Bretonnians shooting. The peasant bowman just shot into the prince here and did no damage. All right, so this combat only had 2 kills, but tons of combat res because both sides have War Banner, BSB, and Standard Banner. 2 ranks. I'm not going to count it all right now because we're a little pressed for time. Anyway, the Elves win by 3. So let's take a test. This is on which one? The Peg Knights or the
Here,
Knights of the Realm? Okay. This Knights of the Realm.
Should be good.
They're good. All right, so give ground. Okay, with the Battle Standard Bearer. And they also give ground. All right. High Elf strategy phase. Both Courage of an Aryan and Earthen Ramparts went off on the Spearman. Charges for the High Elves. The Noble going in there on the Knights of the Realm on foot. He's in. Easy charge. All right, so High Elf shooting. The Knights Errant over there took a casualty from archers. And the Bolt Thrower finished off that last Peg Knight. Any panic tests? Passed it.
It should be good for general.
All right, cool. Last round of combat here. Turn 6 for the Spears. They finished off all but one of the Knights of the Realm. And that is a break. So that is actually faced the other way. That is a fleeing knight, but the chargers, the spearmen were 1 inch short of catching him. Here's the combat here. So the prince ran in, killed 5 Knights of the Realm. Knights of the Realm did 1 wound to the prince. Prince wins combat by 2 points, and the Knights of the Realm give ground. So for the strategy phase, for the final turn for the Bretonnians, we have a rally right here. The BSB is rallied. And then for charges, the Duke charges into the Bolt Thrower and makes it in. I'll move it in off camera. All right, so we're packing up because we got to get out of here. So overall, I'm gonna add up the scores after we're out of here, and I'll superimpose it over the video, so we'll see who wins. But just real quick, Spencer, any thoughts on the game? Anything you would have differently? How'd your strategy go?
My strategy would have done okay if I actually stuck with it. Instead, I got really gritty with my Swordmasters.
Okay.
I think that's what cost me the game the most, and Silverhelms and the Chariot did pretty well. Other than that,
So you needed to hold your formation a little more with the Swordmasters. That would have been your regret. Okay. Ben, how about you? How'd your strategy go, and how things play out?
It's the first time I used heavy magic, so I need to learn how to work with the prophetess better, magic in general. I like the strategy with the units and reserves overall. A couple late positioning moves I think could have been better, but I thought it was a good game overall.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. And again, I'm testing out new formats here. So let us know how you like the format. Anything you'd like to see different. Thanks for watching.